This is a preview of our 20th of September antique sale, and the problem I've had this month is actually finding things that are more interesting than others, because there's so much in this sale. I've just been walking around with Will, and there are so many interesting things that you pick up and think, wow, I've never seen one like that before. So we'll have a quick run around the sale room. I'll point out some things that are stand out more than the rest, but it's really worth a browse through the catalogue. The first group in the sale this time are connected with the royal family, and I'm amazed that they are here to sell, and it's really exciting. This is the story behind them. This lady here is Clara Knight, who was called Clara Alla Knight, so the royal family called her Alla, and she was the royal nanny. So she was the nanny to the Queen Mother from her birth, and then I think till the Queen Mother was 11, and then to the Queen and Princess Margaret for the first few years of their lives. And she was very highly regarded. This is a picture of her with, this is the Queen Mother as a baby, and that's Clara Knight. So while she was working for the royal family, she was given clothes that were worn by Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret, and she had no children of her own, and she sent them to her family who lived in Sussex, and they have since lent them to local museums. And so this whole load of items here, this is one collection of children's clothes. Now, in this photo here of the Queen as a baby being held by the nanny, she's wearing this dress. So this is the one item from the whole lot that we can definitely pin down as being worn by our Queen. But there are loads of things in here. There's some beautiful printed play suits and dresses in here, all preserved in tissue at the moment. But look at this, a 1930s dress with shorts and bloomers to match. And there's masses of them in here. There's also this is a photo of the Queen Mother that she signed in 1922. A beautiful photograph there. That's a rare thing on its own. Over here behind you is her nanny's uniform. Real Mary Poppins design, that, isn't it? It's a fantastic thing, all in silk. And that was Clara Knight's uniform that she wore when she looked after the Queen. So amazing collection of stuff. We also have, I'll show you in a minute, some dolls that were also given to the nanny that she then sent to her relatives. So I'll show you those in a moment. They're down in another cabinet. So we'll just walk along here and point out some other things. Need some stamina to stay with me this time. It's quite a lot to look at, but stay with it. There's a Victorian coal bin. That's probably the most elaborate, the poshest coal bin you could ever have there. It's quite something, isn't it? And it has the original velvet glove. Look at that, it says coal glove on here. There's the shovel. Couldn't find a better coal bin than that. So that's probably going to be £200 or £300 or something like that. We go down the table here. This is all still yet to be set up, but masses of Whitefriars glass here. It's all very fashionable stuff there. Lots of these silver and mother-of-pearl penknives. So we're selling those 3 at a time. They're all Victorian, all hallmarked silver, and they're probably going to make £60 or £80 for 3, £20 each. It's amazing. We'll keep going down here. Masses of things down here as well. Pile of rifles. Not only antiques in these sales, these designer handbags here. Oh dear, Anna Hindmarch. So that's by that designer, and this one here is by the same. Extremely expensive to buy. They're in new condition, but they're in this sale as well. What else have we got? Just have a look around here as well. Some lovely things in this cabinet here. I'll just show you this actually. This is fantastic. So this has got an Irish connection. So it's a Georgian mahogany box, and inside it's got the original gentleman's fittings. There we are. So we've got cutthroat razors, one for every day of the week. There's actually 6 there, but there's a 7th one underneath, I'm sure. Yep, there it is. So there's number 7. So you can shave on Sundays. So they're cutthroat razors. A box there with the original family crest. Georgian silver, look at that, it's hallmarked underneath there as well. And all the fittings have the same crest on. Now in here we've got a letter, the history of this dressing case, which is really quite the story. Oh, it's this one here. And it tells the whole story of this case. So it says, this case belonged to my great-grandfather, Major William Alcock of Springfield House, Wexford. This is in Ireland, second son of Colonel William Alcock. And it goes on to say, Major William Alcock, who this case belonged to, was at the siege of Quebec with his regiment in the year 1759. He married a Quebec French lady whose father was settled in Quebec, named Miss Goldfrapp. This dressing case came to him from his wife's family, as the coat of arms on the big silver box are the Goldfrapp arms, and the Goldfrapp crests are on the smaller silver boxes. So his first wife was piked on the bridge of Wexford. So she was run through by Irish rebels during the Irish Rebellion of 1798. And there's details of all his family. What an amazing family history for that box. That tells you everything you need to know about it. Just a fantastic thing. And that just came in from a private family who were just clearing out a relative's house. And actually from the same house, this wonderful photograph. This is actually the grandson of the chap who originally owned that box. That's quite something, isn't it? That's a Middle Eastern silver frame. These are amazing. Look at this. So these very solid looking things are from the days when people used to really put salt on their food. So these are almost buckets for salt. They're huge. These are George II period. So you're talking about 1730. So they're nearly 300 years old. They are very heavy gauge silver. They have hallmarks underneath, but unfortunately, all I can make out are the date letters on the hallmark. I can't make out who actually made these. But 300 years old. Amazing, isn't it? They're fantastic things. You don't have to put salt in them. You can use them for something else. What other things have we got in the cabinet here? We've got some lovely miniatures here. So these are late 18th, early 19th century miniature portraits, hand-painted, watercolour there. This is on tortoiseshell. So this, if you open it up, you can see inside that it's tortoiseshell, and it says daughter of Captain Alcock, which is another one connected with the box that I just showed you. So that's a lovely portrait there. And another one here as well. That's a military portrait. I think that probably is Captain Alcock, that one. Unfortunately, the glass is cracked on there, but that can be replaced. But it's on a gold backing. Beautiful, really detailed family portrait there. There's a little cigarette case here. That's 1895, and it's got a hand-painted enamel lid. And we think this is probably Edward VII, or when he was Prince of Wales, going through Hyde Park on his horse-drawn carriage. Beautifully painted thing. Isn't it amazing what turns up in these sales? This here is another unique item. What looks like a fairly ordinary photograph was actually taken by Lewis Carroll. So this is a portrait of Alice, and it's a very rare image. Hardly any of these ever come up for sale anywhere in the world, and it's just an incredibly rare piece. And if you look at the back of it, it's never been taken out of that frame. It's been in there for over 100 years. And that's a fascinating thing. That should create a lot of interest. Should be lots of people that would like to own that. We'll just keep going around here and have a look at a few more items over here. Lots of silver this time, some fantastic silver. Another Irish piece there. That's a tea caddy there. But it's 19th century, solid silver. What else have we got? Another more modern piece, this. That's by Garrard's, and it's to commemorate Churchill's 100 years since his birth. But it's lovely, heavy gauge silver box, that. These are all silver as well, all these jockeys. Sculptures here. There's a beautiful Victorian tea service here. That's Victorian silver. Superb quality thing there. These are the royal dolls. Now these are, we've got a pair of Dean's Ragbook Company Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Look at that, dressed as a bride and groom. So these were about 1930, and these do come up for sale fairly regularly, not so often in pairs, but never from the Royal Collection. So this is a unique opportunity, and these are all again from the same provenance. Beautiful dolls here. Look at the eyes on this, bright blue glass eyes in that felt headed doll there, and they're all from the same collection there. So that's a fascinating lot. So we'll just keep going up here and quick look around. Everything's being set up at the moment for the sale next week. Not only antiques, but this table here. Look at the action on that. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, 20th century design there. Got some furniture here. This came out of a house that we cleared in Bexhill. Beautiful Victorian bookcase, but the detail on this carving is amazing. It's just carved leaves all around the edge. Fantastic library bookcase here. The quality is just amazing. It's probably 1,000 to 1,500 or so. Probably ought to be a lot more than that. Actually, while I was rummaging through these, we've got some books in this sale, quite a few interesting books. So these are Royal Society Transactions books, and although they look pretty rough leather-bound books, this one in particular caught my eye because it's Philosophical Transactions from the year 1700 to 1720. So these are records of meetings at the Royal Society, but look at this. President at the time was Sir Isaac Newton, and secretary was Edmund Halley. Look at that. And so these are records of what went on in those meetings. So this is, Roman numerals here are for 1721 when this was published, and inside it's all scientific records, observations on a comet at Rome, and lots of charts inside here as well. Water spouts. I think that's a fascinating lot. There are 8 volumes of this, all from the 1720s. Quite a few interesting lots of books this time as well. So well worth a look through. So if you're still with us at the end of all that tour, the sale is next Wednesday. So the sale's on the 20th. It's viewing now on the internet. So everything is illustrated. There are multiple photos of everything in the sale. And the viewing is on Tuesday from 9 till 7 in the evening, and on the morning of the sale from 9 until we start at 10 o'clock, and it'll go on all day. Thank you very much indeed.